Hey, it's Chris with Life 180. Thank you so much for being here. Check this out. I'm gonna go through the 10 areas of life that I believe you need to invest in yourself. These are different ways that you can invest in yourself. Some don't cost any money, some take time, some take actual resources and money, but here's the one thing that they all have in common. They all take a specific level of intention from you. But here's my challenge and my encouragement to you is you have to know where you wanna go. And if you're not intentional about the life that you're trying to create, it's gonna be impossible for you to get there. So if you do know where you wanna go, my question to you is, are you doing everything you need to do to actually accomplish this? And if the answer is no, and I want you to really think about that, if the answer is no, these 10 areas are gonna help you really focus. They're gonna really help you be intentional about thinking about life, the journey from here where you are now to where you wanna go in a little bit of a different way, and thinking about the different ways that you can invest in yourself to help you be and reach those goals more successfully. Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and this video is gonna be fun. We're gonna be talking about the 10 ways that you can invest in yourself. I always say, you are the best investment you're ever gonna make. So the question is, how do you make the most out of you as an investment, you as an asset, you as the best, I guess, thing in your life that's gonna be able to create the most opportunity, create the most revenue, create the most control and results. And we all have this world that we wanna create in our life. I do this thing on the back of every shirt that I make. It says, change your thinking, change your actions, change your life, because at the end of the day, we all have a life that we wanna live. And my life is probably different than yours, and your life is different than everybody else watching this video. But at the end of the day, your actions that you take in life are gonna dictate what your life looks like. And now, if you back it up a step further, your thinking, how we all think, is what leads to how we all act. And so when we break it down from there, how we think leads to our actions lead to our life. So at the end of the day, it all starts with our thinking, right? And so how can we impact our thinking? We do that by investing in ourselves in different ways. I don't know about you, but me, I'm a far different person today at 42 years old than I was back when I was 25, when I was playing poker for a living, when I was traveling the world and doing the online poker gig and traveling to World Series poker events and World Poker Tour events and doing all that stuff. Things back then meant I just lived a completely different lifestyle. I had a completely different set of priorities. I had a completely different set of values. I've changed a lot over those times. I've grown a lot. I never really read any books. And now when you look behind me, I've done all these books. I've read every single one of them, right? And that's all in the past decade, right? I only wish that I knew then what I knew now, and that I started this whole journey of investing in myself intentionally, at a young age. So all you young people out there that are watching this in your young 20s or even teens that are having a shot to do this, I just say, you know what, you're super fortunate that you're intentionally thinking about, or maybe you've been, just raised a little differently than I was, and you've had this stuff be more of a priority for you. And I'll say, if you're a little older, there's no time like now. The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is right now. Get started today and be committed to a long-term self-development growth program. And if you do that, you're gonna realize the results in your life can far supersede anything you thought possible if you could just make small, incremental changes and growth every single month. Literally, make a 1 degree change every single month. 5 years from now, you're gonna look back and you're not even gonna remember and realize who you were, but it takes intentionality, I should say. So let's get right into this. So the first way to invest in yourself is by changing your thinking, and the best way to change your thinking is by reading. And you can see all these books back here. I've read all those books. I didn't start reading till I was 30, and when I did, I started reading all those books. I'm 42 today. What I want to do is share with you the 4 books that have made the greatest impact in my life. I read this one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You've probably heard of it. If you haven't read it. I read this book 3 times before I read a different book. It made a huge change in my life. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Listen, you are your thinking. Most people have limiting beliefs, and their thinking is the cause of that. Essentialism. If you're a crazy entrepreneur like me, you've got all these harebrained ideas. Greg McKeown wrote this book. You've got a lot of ideas. You want to do a lot of things. You think you could do everything. at the end of the day, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And this book is going to help you sort through how to prioritize life and simplify your life. And my last one, self-serving, cash flow hacking. I believe you should be investing for cash flow. That's what I wrote this book, Cash Flow Hacking, for. Get off the hamster wheel, stop investing for accumulation, and buy and hold long-term stuff when you can have the results that you want much faster and have more control over your results at the same time. Number 2 is what you're doing right now. Watch YouTube videos, but watch YouTube videos for knowledge and growth, and not just entertainment. One of the biggest things that I see a lot of is that people are consumers and they're not producers, right? By being utilizing YouTube for growth and development, you become a producer. You're thinking, you're watching videos, maybe like this, maybe you're watching some of my financial content, maybe you're watching some other people, but the bottom line is when you watch YouTube and you have a good notepad, and I always have a notepad whenever I have YouTube near me, because you never know what you're gonna get. Maybe you take notes on your smartphone, your Droid, or your Apple device, but the bottom line is, be a producer. Go into every piece of content that you watch with a producer mindset. What are you trying to learn from it? How are you trying to grow? How are you trying to learn something specific that you can turn around and implement in a positive way in another area of your life, whether it's your personal life, your marriage, you as a parent, you as a business, you and your personal finances, whatever it is. Be super intentional. Don't fall down the warp hole of spending hours and hours and hours a day of device time on entertainment and not for knowledge. If you utilize it as a tool and you come at it from a producer mentality, it can be one of the most powerful tools in the world. However, it's also a dangerous slippery slope that it's easy to start kind of falling into more entertainment style videos, which, listen, there's nothing wrong with that every now and then, but we want the focus, the overwhelming majority of our time to be focused on growth, not entertainment. All right, so the third thing that you can do to invest in yourself is taking online courses. Now, there's courses that you can buy. There's courses that you could take that are free. Like I said, I've said this in a bunch of videos, I guess is the best way to put it, is investing in yourself, investing in your knowledge, investing in your skills, investing in something that's gonna help elevate you is one of the most important things that you can do. Now, that's gonna be different for everybody, but I promise you, there's gonna be courses online. You can go to places like Coursera. I can't remember what the other names of the places are, but you can go online and take college courses for free on websites right now. Courses that at Ivy League universities and mini Ivies and stuff of that nature that you would never have had access to 15 years ago, right? And now everybody can go and take them for free and even get a certificate of completion for free. This whole idea that you have to go this traditional route of college is just kind of mind-numbingly annoying and stupid at this point in time, in my opinion. Not that there's not a place for that, but to think that that's your only place for education is very short-sighted. Think about what you want to create. Maybe you want to build a business online. Maybe you need to learn how to build sales funnels. Maybe you need to learn how to do websites. Maybe you just want to get better at whatever your expertise is. I mean, my mother-in-law loves to knit. You know, she could take courses on knitting, how to knit better, learning how to knit different patterns, and then go around and go from there. And so the bottom line is courses, whether they're free, whether they're paid, it's worth it. Invest in yourself, build that skill up. So number 4, teach people something. I think one of the reasons that I'm so, proficient and awesome at what I do in the life insurance space and the investment in the real estate space is because I dedicate literally hours and hours and hours every single day to mastering my craft, because I know that I'm creating this content. I know I'm filming this video. I have to think differently on a different level. I have to become a master at designing policies, a master at finding real estate opportunity and understanding all the different nuances of it, because if I don't master that, then I'm gonna come off looking like a moron on this channel, and I don't want that, right? Like, so one of the best ways to learn and to invest in yourself is to commit to teaching others. I tell life insurance agents and real estate people all the time, you should create a YouTube channel. You should create more content on Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff. Why? Not because you want to go get thousands and thousands of views and subscribers and followers and all that stuff, although that's a great side benefit, but because it forces you to become more. It forces you to elevate to the next level. And by you doing that, you're putting yourself out there on a platform and you're committing to other people, which is going to hold you accountable. So you're going to elevate your performance, and that's going to help you get where you want to go on a more predictable basis. So the 5th way to invest in yourself is to attend live events. One of my favorite things to do. My wife and I commit to going to a couple live events every single year together because I think it's a really good way for us to grow together. I think it's a great way to go meet people, learn new things, develop our skills, develop our knowledge, but it's also a great way to network with people. One of the hard things, if you're anything like me, is when you're in your environment, your family, most people probably don't quite get you. They don't understand how you think, they don't understand how you do your business, they don't understand why you do things the way that you do. And it's like the crabs in the bucket analogy. If you surround yourself with people who don't get you, they're always going to be trying to pull you back into their reality because the way you think makes them uncomfortable, right? And so what you need to do is you need to get to these events and surround yourself with people that think like you. Just next week, probably by the time this video comes out, I'm going to be at Funnel Hacking Live, ClickFunnels' largest event, because I'm a partner with ClickFunnels and we do a lot of stuff on the marketing side with them. But more importantly, I'm not really going to learn because I've learned pretty much all the things I can learn from ClickFunnels at this point in time. What I'm going there for is networking. I'm going there to surround myself with people, to cultivate relationships, to add value to people's lives, to see where I can learn from other people in other ways. But it's more about what happens after the seminar, at night, at dinner, networking, having a drink with somebody, hanging out. That's the stuff that matters. Attending live events, yes, it's going to help you once again develop your knowledge and skills depending on what stage of the journey you're in. But even what I see is a lot of times people go, well, I learned that. I don't need to go to that event anymore. I've been there, I've done that. There's a reason that this is going to be the 5th Funnel Hacking Live that I've gone to, is because even though there's, I've learned a lot of the technicals, there's always more to learn. You always got to be on a path of growth, and got to acknowledge there's always people ahead of you. So you want to just get that one thing. If I could get that one piece of information out of this next week, it's all going to be worth it. But more importantly, if I could develop 2 or 3 or 4 really good new relationships that I can serve, and we can have some sort of mutually beneficial relationship, then you know what? It's all worth it. And that's what this is all about. And so that's why my wife and I commit to going to a couple events every single year. And I commit to going to at least one event per month for myself for professional development. And I can tell you that one thing alone has had the greatest impact in the evolution of my success. All right, so the 6th thing you can do to invest in yourself is eat healthy. Let's face it, food is fuel for our bodies. And I don't need to spend a lot of time on this one. Eating healthy is one of the most important things that you can do. I can tell you, for me, I understand this is hard. I'm not perfect with it. Especially when you travel, it's really hard to get into rhythms. But what I can say is when I get off of my healthier eating habits, I do feel it. I notice a difference. And when you eat healthy, the extra energy you have, it impacts your ability to show up as the most powerful version of yourself. A lot of times, how when you go to conferences and you're eating unhealthy and maybe you're drinking more than you do normally and whatever, you're not getting the most out of that experience as you possibly could. So my encouragement to you is when you go out into these other environments, make sure you're being really intentional about how you're fueling your body and how you're showing up in those environments to maximize the opportunities that you're actually putting yourself in front of. So the 7th way to invest in yourself, exercise. Your body is a temple, right? Like that, you gotta exercise. You gotta put time into your physical development. And this goes back, it's gonna be easier to exercise when you're feeding yourself better, when you're fueling your body with the right food, right? And you're getting enough sleep. That's kind of a bonus one that I didn't put in here, but make sure you eat well, make sure you sleep well, and then make sure you exercise. And your odds of exercising, your odds of your desire to be high enough to have the energy to exercise is gonna be much higher if you do the previous two, right? You sleep well and you eat well. And by exercising, a lot of people go, oh, when I exercise, I get tired. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's gonna happen right out of the gate. But if you exercise consistently for a couple of weeks, what you'll find out is exercising will actually wind up giving you energy, and it'll be part of the thing that fuels you to get through the day. So number 8, this is a little different. The number 8 way to invest in yourself is actually not by investing in yourself, but it's by investing in other people. One of the things that I can tell you is that this one thing made the biggest impact in my life because I've always been a guy, and I followed Brendon Burchard for a long time. And one of the things, and it was a good thing and it was a bad thing, but I remember hearing Brendon Burchard tell on stage that he was his only employee until he hit $10 million in revenue. Think about that. He never hired a person until he hit 10 million in revenue. So me, my stubborn self, who has a lot of confidence in my own abilities, listen to him and I go, well, if Brendon did it, I don't need to hire anybody. I'm just gonna grit my teeth and I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna grind this out until I hit 8 figures in business, I'm not going to hire anybody to help me with anything. But here's the deal. What I realized is that it became super just burdensome and heavy and hard for me to get everything done. I was exhausted. I had no time to go through and feed me and invest in myself in these other areas like exercise. I had no time to even think about my diet. I had no time to show up for my family and my kids in the way that I wanted to. And I started, really kind of spiraling a little bit, and it impacts me. It impacted me, and I'm sure it would impact you. And so my encouragement to you is to think about, like, what do you really enjoy? And focus your time there. The other stuff, invest in other people. If you hate email, get a VA. If you hate dealing with certain things, outsource those activities to other people. For me, I've got a guy that I just hired who does all my video. He's phenomenal. I've got other people in the life insurance agency that handle all the operations and the mechanics behind it. I've got a guy that I partner with on the marketing side that does all the back end funnel building. Now, I know how to do all that stuff, but it doesn't mean it's my unique ability. It's not the place that brings me the most joy, that gives me the most fulfillment, that allows me to show up in a more powerful way, to feel better, to show up better for myself, for the people that I'm trying to serve professionally, for my business partners, for my wife, for my kids, for everybody in the world. And now that I've invested in these other people and I've taken the leap, which was, by the way, I get it. It was a scary leap to originally start giving up some equity, start paying people some salaries, start doing all these things. Yeah, that's scary initially, but if you have faith in yourself and you go about it the right way and you do it in the right order and you understand the value and you're intentional enough about doing it, by investing in other people, it's going to help you grow because you're going to spend more time in your unique area of ability, in your superpower zone, and you are going to be able to show up more powerfully, and that's going to help elevate you in a much faster way. And so my encouragement to you is to really think about where in your life, even if it's something small, can you outsource what you're doing right now, even if it's outsourcing it to somewhere like Upwork, or going on to some of these sites where you can find a VA in the Philippines. I've got a couple video editors, Mikhail, Dana, if you're watching this, you guys are amazing. I know you are watching it because you're gonna be editing this. So listen, these people will change your life if you allow them to, but you just gotta be willing to take that leap. So invest in other people. All right, so the 9th way to invest in yourself is to invest in experiences. I think this is really important. I think, you need to take trips, you need to see the world, you need to go to events, you need to do things that fulfill you, that fill your cup. It's the old adage, if the plane's crashing, what do the flight attendants tell you to do? The oxygen drops from the ceiling. Before helping your neighbor, make sure you put the oxygen mask on yourself, right? Because you can't help other people unless you are taken care of first. And one of the things that I think a lot of people make the mistake of, and I fall into this sometimes myself, is not taking care of yourself first, right? And so I think it's really important that one of the best ways that you can do this is by going on experiences, going to, whether it's traveling, whether it's sporting events, whether it's going camping, and I like going off-roading and overlanding. Sometimes it's as simple as going just for a weekend, just to kind of decompress and recharge and getting away from it, turning my phone off and getting technology out of my face and going from there, because I live in front of a computer screen basically and in front of a camera. Like, this is what it is. And so for me, I love that portion. It gives me real time to connect with my family, and I come back, and when I do, I show up more powerfully. At least I think I do. All right, so the 10th thing, and I gotta do this, the 10th way to invest in yourself is by investing in an infinite banking policy for you and your family. I always say a properly designed whole life insurance policy with an infinite banking policy is the only way to make sure that what you want to happen will happen when you want it to happen, whether you're here to see it or not. And we all know that you need an emergency fund. We all know that you need an opportunity fund to be able to prepare for the market cycles and the recessionary environments and all these things that are gonna happen. So getting started with an infinite banking policy is going to guarantee that is going to put in place that on a guaranteed basis, if you just follow the system, your life will get better and better and better on a yearly basis, where the only variable in your success is your willingness and ability to contribute to it, to be dedicated, to pay yourself first and implement this system that will catapult the results in your life forward. So those are the 10 things. If you have any questions at all, reach out. In the description below, there's a link. You can go to my bio. There's going to be a link there, depending on where you're watching this. But listen, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I will engage with every single comment that I see. That is my commitment and promise to you. If you have any questions at all, do that. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, that way you're notified every time I launch a new video. Till next time, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.